Hello friends, and welcome to my any percent set seed speedrun of Minecraft. Any percent set seed means that I'm allowed to use glitches, so I'm going to be duplicating items for a large part of this early part of the speedrun. And it's set seed, meaning that I can choose the world that I spawn in, so I can set the seed for the random generator, which generates everything in the world. So with this particular seed I spawn very nearby to a village. What I'm digging here is I'm digging out the wall of a blacksmith to get to his chest, which gets me obsidian, apples, gold, and iron. And so straight away I'm going to duplicate all of those because I can use those to trade with the villagers to obtain other items that I'm going to need to be able to complete the game, as well as craft some items that will be useful for the end fight. Duplicating items is very easy. It only works in single player, but it's a glitch that's been around for a very long time. Basically, you drop any items that you want to duplicate, and then before you pick up those items again, you want to save the game and load the game. So here I drop them, and then I save and load. Then right when the game comes back up, you pick the items up, and as soon as they're in your inventory, you Alt F4, so you force the game to quit. And that causes the game to save in such a way that the items are both on the ground and in your inventory, so you get double of whatever you dropped. So I just did that 3 times to get 8 times of everything that was in the chest, and now I'm going to craft a few golden tools that I'm going to be using to, break some blocks. This is Minecraft after all. I'm also going to finish up an iron armor set, which I am going to use to not die during the fight with the Ender Dragon. I'm going to need flint and steel, so I dig up some gravel to find a flint. For every block you dig up, there is a 5% chance of it having a flint, so I think I got the flint after 5 blocks, which is relatively lucky. And now I'm going to start a series of trades with the Cleric. The Cleric is a very important villager because at his highest tier of trades, or second highest I guess, he trades emeralds for Eyes of Ender. And you need Eyes of Ender in order to complete the end portal, which you need to be able to get to the Ender Dragon and complete the game. So instead of having to farm up Ender Pearls and farm up Blaze Rods, you can just trade with the Cleric to get the Eyes of Ender. So I traded the gold that was in the blacksmith chest for 2 emeralds, and now I'm duplicating emeralds so that I can trade them for Eyes of Ender. You need to trade with the Cleric twice to level up his trades to the point where he'll give you eyes. So the trade of gold for emeralds levels his trades up to tier 2. And now I'm going to trade 1 emerald for some redstone. I don't actually need the redstone, but I need to make this trade so that he will offer me Eyes of Ender next time I try to trade with him. During all this, I'm also duplicating wood and wool so I can make a lot of beds, which I'm going to use to defeat the Ender Dragon. The number of emeralds that you need to trade for the various things the villagers have can vary. In particular, the most important one that can vary is that the Cleric will ask for between 7 and 11 emeralds per Eye of Ender. In this case, I got quite unlucky because he wanted 11 emeralds per eye. If he wants 7, 8, or 9, then you can get 3 Eyes of Ender off the bat, and you need 12 to complete the portal, so you just need to do 2 duplications to be able to get enough Eyes of Ender to complete the end portal. But in this case, he only gave me 2 Eyes of Ender because I only had 30 emeralds to trade, so I need to do an extra duplication. That takes about 20 seconds of real time to do, but for Minecraft speedruns, we use in-game time, so that actually only costs about 4 seconds of the time tracked by that lower timer on the upper right, the one in the white. And that's the timer that actually matters for the purposes of leaderboards. So having duplicated extra time takes 20 seconds real time, but relatively little time in game, so it's not actually that big of a deal. So here I craft a bunch of beds, which I'm going to use to blow up the dragon. And I also am going to find a Fletcher. The brown-robed villagers are the ones that have the possibility to be a Fletcher, and after searching through 3 brown-robed villagers, I was able to find him, which is relatively fast. Sometimes you can travel around for 30 seconds before finding him. In this case, I found him quite quickly. And now I'm going to head off to the Nether so I can get to the stronghold very quickly. I have to alt-tab out of the game here and come back in after a short time, or else the game sort of bugs out and gets me stuck in terrain. Minecraft is not the best program game. I was able to enter the Nether at 157 at in-game time, which is relatively fast. The fastest village I've ever seen in this category in a speedrun is 147, which is the village in Josh Gaming's run, which was the world record previous to this. So that village was 10 seconds slower than the fastest village I've ever seen, which is really not that bad. Anything under 2 minutes is a very solid start. The reason why I travel through the Nether there is that every step in the Nether is eight steps in the main world. So I get to go to the stronghold very quickly by taking that short trek through the Nether. Otherwise, I'd have to travel a much larger distance. I also have to keep the game paused here for about 10 seconds or else it bugs out and gets me stuck in terrain and such. Fortunately, that doesn't cost any endgame time because the game is paused, so that doesn't actually affect my ending time. So then I use the Zev's vendor to complete the end portal, and we enter the final fight. This is definitely the most difficult part of this speedrun. There's a lot of technical, like, inventory manipulation earlier on, but this part is really the key factor. The dragon fight can go very well or very poorly, depending on a large number of factors. The first thing you have to do is destroy these ender crystals. The dragon heals whenever he's nearby an ender crystal, and he heals very quickly. So in order to defeat him, you need to destroy all or mostly all of the ender crystals. Doing so can be very difficult because arrows are affected by gravity quite a bit, so you have to know how high you need to shoot each arrow in order to hit the crystals. Fortunately, I've gotten really, really good at this. I hit some arrow shots in this end that I'm very proud of, including that last one. Honestly, I feel like this is the part of the run that I've improved on the most. I was able to destroy all of the ender crystals, except one which is at the very far end of the island, which I didn't bother destroying, after about 1 minute inside the end, which is really very fast. I'm really happy with how that went. So after destroying the ender crystals, it's time to actually deal damage to the dragon and defeat him, and I'm going to do that by blowing up some beds. The developers didn't want you to be able to set your spawn point inside this end area, so instead of just making beds unusable, they instead make beds explode whenever you try to use them, which is a pretty cool game mechanic, but it's also really useful for dealing a lot of damage because every bed is a large dynamite explosion. I placed a block of obsidian between me and the bed to decrease the damage I take and lessen the chance that I'll catch on fire. I still ended up getting caught on fire, but because of the armor, I was able to avoid most of the damage there. Here I'm saving and loading. There's another glitch in the game, which is that if you save and load, then you don't take damage for a few seconds after loading the game back up. So by saving and loading, I was able to not take damage from a few ticks of the fire. You can kill the dragon in as few as 3 bed explosions. In this case, I think it took me 4, maybe 5. Yeah, I think it took 5. That's actually fairly unlucky, but I got lucky in that the dragon charged at a pretty good rate here. Sometimes he can just fly around for minutes without ever charging at you, and sometimes he comes at you a lot in a row, and you just have to be prepared for whatever you get. Fortunately, I got pretty lucky here, and he came at me. And then here I saw that the Enderman dropped an Ender Pearl, and I tried to find it, but I couldn't. And then the dragon came in really fast for another charge, and fortunately I was prepared for it. I knew where the bed was in my inventory, and I was able to place it down and place it in pretty much exactly the right spot to deal a ton of damage to him. Here I noticed my health is pretty low, so I use the invincibility glitch a couple times to make sure I won't die. And then I do what is easily the worst mistake in the run. I fall off my pillar before the end portal actually spawns and go down to half a heart of health. If I had died there, I definitely would have deserved it, but fortunately I survived and was able to make it in. If it weren't for falling off the pillar at the end, this would have been about 6 or 7 seconds faster. So I definitely say that's the biggest single mistake. But my luck in the village was good. I found a flint really quickly, the cleric was nearby, the Fletcher was nearby. And the crystals in the end were pretty easy to hit, and I did a good job of destroying them. The dragon took 5 beds to destroy, but he also charged a bit more often than he usually does. So honestly, pretty much everything in this run went really well. The world record before this was 6:06 by Josh Gaming. So this is a almost 40-second improvement, which I'm really, really proud of. Like, that is a very large time difference. So I'm really very happy with this run. It can definitely be beat. But yeah, I'm really proud of it. There's a lot of people who contributed to this run. There's a lot of people in the Minecraft community. It's been great to get to know them over the past few months. The one that I'm going to shout out is Josh Gaming. He's the guy that had the world record before me, and he's also the guy that discovered this particular seed that has the village and the stronghold nearby. If it weren't for Josh Gaming, we'd probably still be using the old seed, which was the one that Bismuth used in his AGDQ run from last year. We were using that seed for so long, and I was just waiting for the day that somebody would find a seed that would allow us to beat the game even faster, and Josh Gaming did it. So he basically just revolutionized this category, made it totally different and quite a bit faster. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the run. I definitely enjoyed going for it. I'm very happy to have this. If you want to see more speedruns, you can go check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/fearfulferret. And here I killed myself in frustration because I fell off the pillar at the end, and I'm very sad about that. But hey, it's a world record, so I'm happy. See you guys later.